Today's recipe is about how to make homemade rice with sweet corn and garden peas. First, you want to set the pan on medium heat, and I've got here my wok, my best friend in these kind of situations when I've got multiple ingredients, and it's good for tossing as well, just perfect tool. Now, I'm going in with about 3 tablespoons of extra virgin olive oil. When the pan is hot enough, go in with half chopped onion. In this situation, I'm using red onion, but the only reason I'm doing that is because I ran out of white onion. It doesn't really matter, to be honest. So, onion straight in. After that, follow with 2 cloves of garlic, finely chopped. And we're gonna cook the onion and the garlic for about 5 minutes or until the onion starts becoming translucent. At the point when the onion starts becoming translucent, go in with the carrot. I've got here half grated carrot, which I'm gonna cook for a further 1 or 2 minutes. Okay, so now it's time to add the rice, but don't add the rice before you wash it. So we get rid of some of that extra starch that we don't really need, and the rice will become nice and fluffy if you do that. If you don't do it, it'll not have a huge impact, but still, try to do this before you adding the rice in the pan. After a quick rinse under cold water, the rice can go straight in. Okay, so at this point, I want to cook the rice for another 2 or 3 minutes, still on medium heat. It's almost like cooking risotto, so you want to cook the rice before you adding any liquid in there. And that will give even better flavor to your end result. As you probably noticed, I'm using basmati rice, and the reason I do this is because it cooks faster, the grain is kind of thin and long. Another reason is I prefer this rice over other varieties. But you do you, it would work pretty much in the same way with other rice varieties. So last week I made a recipe on how to make tomato sauce for pasta. But this sauce is so versatile that it can be used in any recipes. And this is what I'm using here. If you want to see that recipe and come back, check this link up here. But I'm adding now the tomato sauce, which I'm not using the whole thing. I'm just adding like 2-3 tablespoons. You could do this with fresh tomatoes, but fresh tomatoes are not in season at this point, so you're not gonna get a real benefit. After adding the tomato sauce, which bear in mind that it's got some seasoning itself, not a whole lot, but it does have some seasoning, I'm gonna go with a good pinch of salt and a good pinch of freshly grounded black pepper. And if we need more, obviously we can add more at the end, but you don't want to go with too much right from the beginning. In the same time, it's important to add seasoning now because it will go into the grain of the rice and give you a better flavor. So I've got here some veg stock that I prepared earlier. All you need is a few vegetables and simmer them for about half an hour, and there is your veg stock right there. Easy. Or worst case scenario, you can probably go with stock cubes. They're not great, to be honest, but if you want a shortcut, that's probably your shortcut right there. Now, the secret is to add your stock gradually. So you want to go probably with 50 mils at a time. It's exactly the same as making risotto at this stage. You gradually add liquid, let the rice absorb that liquid, and add more till the rice is cooked al dente. You don't want to cook it all the way. And probably you need about 300 mils for the amount of rice we added, because we added about 140 grams. At this stage, make sure that you simmer your rice. You don't boil it as crazy. And the cooking should take about 10 to 15 minutes, depending on how hot or cold your stock is. Because obviously, if you add a cold stock, then your temperature of the whole rice situation here will drop and it needs to come back to simmer. So that will influence obviously how long this will take, but about 10 to 15 minutes, I'm sure that it will be all done. The idea is that most people at this stage, what mistake they make, they add all the liquid in one go, and your rice basically is boiling in there and it doesn't really have the chance, to absorb those flavors gradually. Okay, the liquid is almost gone, so we're gonna go in with another 50 to 100 mils. It's important to stir in from time to time. And this is where the silicone spatula comes in very handy, because you can clean all the sides of the pan and then get all the rice in the middle so it cooks evenly. I just wanna taste the sauce at this stage, which the rice is probably cooked halfway through, and see what the seasoning looks like. We definitely need a bit more salt, so I'm gonna go in with another good pinch of salt and then mix everything together. Pepper seems to be okay, but obviously you taste for yourself and just adjust to your taste and your liking. After about 10 minutes of cooking, the rice is almost there, and it's now at the stage where we're gonna add the garden peas and the sweet corn. And I've got here about 3-4 tablespoons of garden peas, and About the same sweet corn, but it's totally up to you how much you want to add. The reason why we're adding the garden peas and the sweet corn at the end is because we want to preserve their colors and their nutritional value. The more you cook them, the more you lose both of these. That's why you want to add them towards the end and only give them about 2 minutes of cooking. Is all you need. Now turn off the heat and check the seasoning again. I'm sure that by now is all good. If you enjoyed this recipe, make sure you subscribe to the channel because on this channel, the cooking never stops, and I will see you in the next one.